And welcome back to What If, and we're starting a new one because we finished the last one. Well, we're on it. We finished the soccer one. So we finished the Wednesday one is what I'm trying to get at. So we're starting a new Wednesday one, and this one now I know other people have given me different variations of this What If. I'm just gonna go with the standard version of it. I'll save the different versions for the people who suggested it. But at least 4 people have suggested this one. When I chose this one, and then I saw how many people actually suggested it. I thought there was more. So if you have suggested this one in the past, and I don't mention your name in the shout out, let me know, and I'll just put it in the comments or something, or in the description. So this one comes to us from Mr. Fanton. Oh, I might get this name wrong. Ayush Timsina, Enderblade DGC, and Nick Mirkarla, who asked the question, one of the big ones a lot of people will like to hear, what if Jiraya had adopted Naruto? Now, right off the bat, Jiraya is Naruto's godfather, so by all accounts he should have. But there were things that were preventing Jiraiya in the original series from adopting Naruto. He had a spy network. That was a big issue for him. He couldn't adopt Naruto because he had a spy network that he had to deal with. Also, he didn't want the position of Hokage, so he couldn't stay around that much. But in this scenario, what if Jiraiya had taken his role as godfather more seriously, had actually raised Naruto? Well, right off the bat, Jiraiya still wouldn't be staying in the village. He just wouldn't be doing that. His spy network is too important to the village as far as we know. But that doesn't mean he can't bring Naruto along with him. In fact, and we'll get into this, there's a way around it. You may ask, they wouldn't let Naruto leave the village. Let's get into this. So, right off the bat, obviously Naruto's gone. The Fourth and Kushina are gone. They're having their meeting in the council chamber, and they're discussing what to do with the boy. Most people who want to, I'm sure there might have been a couple people who want to adopt Naruto, but like maybe Danzo or the council, the civilian council, got in the way or something like those along those lines. So they're delegating, they're debating. What do we do? Well, I guess we'll have to put him in the orphanage, and the third just like, damn, I wish there was another way. And all of a sudden, doors open, and in comes Jiraiya. And remember, this is Jiraiya 12 years earlier. He would have been 50. He would have been only 38. He would still be a relatively young dude, all things considered. By shinobi standards, he's actually much older. Your average shinobi kind of peaks in their early 30s, like mid to early 30s. So later 30s is starting to get on the older side for a shinobi because, you could die any day. But Jiraiya comes in, he's here. Let's say it's raining too, so he's here soaked in rain. He walks in, he's like, no, you're not putting him anywhere except in my care. Jiraiya, what are you doing here? What are you talking about? And then he pulls out a scroll that, because here's the thing. He knows he's Naruto's godfather. Someone else would have had to know he's Naruto's godfather if there was no written consent. I imagine that Jiraiya would have had that put in stone, basically. Say, this is a scroll saying that I am this child's godfather. And they read it over and everything else. And he's coming with me. They're like, well, there's not much we can do about it. So you're going to be staying in the village in Jiraiya? No, I can't do that. We both know my spy network is too important to him. As he is holding Naruto and looking over, and it's like, thinking he does look so much like his dad. Well, we can't. He's the container of the Kyuubi. We cannot let him leave the village. You can, you will. Trust me. I've got my ways. And then he talks it over with the Hokage, briefly whispering something back and forth. Sarutobi actually smiles a bit because he knows that they're trying to keep Naruto in the village, and he also realizes that I would imagine Sarutobi realized pretty early on that while he wanted the village to look at Naruto as a hero, it was going to be tough going on that, and clearly it did not work out to the way he thought. But he smiles like, Jiraiya will be allowed to take the child. It's like, what? He'll have there will be an arrangement for him as he's raising him. There will be arrangement for him while Jiraiya is in areas that would not be deemed safe for a child. So, Jiraiya would stick around the village for a few days, get some things ready, seal up some stuff and some scrolls, and then he would take Naruto out of the village. And so then then he goes on to raise Naruto. Now, what happens during the race? Yeah, it's like raise Naruto. 12 years later, no, there's stuff that's going to be going down between them. In terms of like training for Naruto's training, you wouldn't see Naruto start training until probably around the age of 6. I think Jiraiya would want him to have a nice semblance of childhood before he even tried to begin the arts of ninjutsu. But meanwhile, so how does the Jiraiya raising a child go? Well, I mean, Jiraiya is new to this, but he took on the responsibility. He's going to take that on, and he does starts to look at Naruto, especially as the years go on, really as his own son. I mean, he knows that he is his teacher's son, but he sees him as his own. He feels like he understands the pride parents have in their kids after raising Naruto for all those years. But we'll get to that when we get to that. So, you'll get Naruto acting like a kid a lot of the time, childish. Jiraiya will know his lovable energy, but his curiosity, inquisitive nature. I think while he wouldn't train him like in chakra control or anything like that, he would have him read. Reading would be a big thing. And while Naruto probably would be a little hyperactive, because of his nature as an Uzumaki and his dad being the fourth, he would be giving him sealing scrolls reading. And sealing, I think, would be something Naruto would really be into once he really got into it. And he'd be practicing calligraphy early on. Now, you remember I said there's an easy way around places like Jiraiya's spy network, I believe, probably went all around the 5 great nations, including places like maybe the Cloud and the Stone, or the Earth, land of Earth and land of Lightning. How do you get around those places? Simple. Jiraiya has this little thing called a summoning jutsu, and another little thing called a reverse summoning jutsu. He can just send him to hang with the toads whenever he wants. So a lot of the young Naruto years would be spent probably in, oh god, what was the name of that? I know the spelling of it. I mean, it's the pronunciation I can never get down. The Land of the Toads. Land of the Toads, Naruto. Imoka Buko Land of the Toads. No, Toads. Yeah, okay. Land of the Toads. It is named Mount Moyobuku. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. Mount Moyobuku. Basically, Land of the Toads. So Naruto would be spending a lot of time there. He'd probably be already Actually, Gamakichi. How old is Gamakichi? Do we know that? Do we know how old Gamakichi is? Because here's the thing. He'd probably get to know all the toads there, including Old Gramps, Bunta, Gamakichi, if he's around let's just assume he's around the same age as Naruto. Let's just assume that. That just makes it easy. So, they're Gamatatsu even maybe, exercises a bit more, isn't just so chunky. It's like, it's fun about time, sounding like Mr. freaking Hanky in the dub. So yeah, Naruto he'd also be a lot more physically. I mean, Naruto was always physically fit, but he'd be actually moving around with toads, jumping with them, getting a lot more exercise. So a lot of Naruto's childhood would be spent probably in, Mayoboko would probably be spent there. So he'd be getting a lot of hands-on. He'd also be probably learning wouldn't necessarily be learning Sage Chakra right off the bat, but he'd be like learning from Gramps about it. And it'd be something that would fascinate Naruto, because again, Naruto in the original series, it was something that he couldn't grasp naturally, because Naruto was never dumb. He just processed things differently. But that's because I don't think he was ever given an opportunity to really learn in the same capacity as others. So, giving Naruto a proper environment to learn and grow, you can give him a newfound interest in things. And I think like Sage Chakra, things along those lines, that'd be one of them. Obviously, Jiraiya would be stopping by as often as he could. Then Naruto would be as Naruto got older, he'd be spending less time at Moyobuku. I'm going to just have that in front of me for the whole time. He'd be spending less time in Moyobuku and more time with Jiraiya on the wall, getting more life experience, melding that together so they would be getting an even chance at things. Jiraiya would also be planning to return Naruto to the village come the graduation ceremony of the generation that Naruto was a part of. But meanwhile, around age 6 is when Jiraiya would probably start training Naruto. Given the basics, chakra control, ninja art training, physical training, which he would already have that down, at least down to some degree. He'd already have a leg up on that due to his physical exercising at Moyoboku. But Jiraiya would be practicing with him, getting his chakra control down, probably spending a while on that and giving some like the basic academy jutsus that they'd be learning. And Naruto would probably be getting that down because there'd be proper training for Naruto now. Probably be getting that down pretty quick. I do think Jiraiya, but Jiraiya would realize Naruto couldn't do the normal clone jutsu, saying like we know Naruto can't do it in the original series anyway. So Jiraiya would show him the Shadow Clone Jutsu, and he, Naruto's just like, whoa! And then Shadow Clone's it's like, whoa. It's like, it must be that Uzumaki and Foxtrot mixing together. And then we would just, over the next, 5 to 6 years, what would be happening with Naruto? What would he be learning? Jiraiya would definitely be introducing him to seals at this point, now that he has chakra down. And because Naruto had such a leg up on it, he'd be learning a lot of different seals. Storage seals, explosive seals, paralysis seals, binding seals, storage seals, the basic seals and more complex seals. Now, you wouldn't get him like as a chakra master right up the bat. Like, he wouldn't be Jiraiya's level or anything along those lines at age 12. But in terms of someone around his age, he'd be for Genin, he would be considered a seal master, a sealing specialist. But that's not to say he wouldn't have ninjutsu down either. I almost guarantee you that Jiraiya would probably, besides showing him the Shadow Clone Jutsu, he'd probably teach him the exploding Shadow Clone Jutsu, transformation and substitution are obvious ones. Maybe the Shadow Shuriken Jutsu as well would be on his list. He'd probably test out his chakra element and find his wind. He probably would have a leaning towards water as well, though there's no proof on that. He might have a leaning towards water. Just because of the Uzumakis. As far as we know, though, the Uzumakis didn't even know water jutsu, even though they lived by the whirlpool. I'd be willing to bet they did. So Naruto would probably be learning some wind jutsu, some basic wind jutsu over the years. Because I think what would happen is that Naruto wouldn't immediately know. Jiraiya would probably want Naruto to figure out the clone jutsu's secret himself, and probably take a couple years for Naruto to do that, despite being a lot more on the ball and keen to things. But after he figured it out, he quickly speeds up his process of learning things. And probably he would use the clones anyway, not realizing that is what they're used for. So it would probably speed up his process in general. And then Naruto might insist that, now would Jiraiya give him the Toad contract immediately? I would think yes, because I would say yes, not immediately, but near the end, I think as like a special graduation for, his training that he's done with Jiraiya. Does he teach him the Rasengan? See, this thing. Naruto only knows Jiraiya as his father, though I think Jiraiya, in this case, would tell Naruto who his dad. He would tell him that the fourth was his dad and show him the Rasengan and all that. I think he would say the Rasengan. The summoning jutsu, I think he'd do. The Rasengan, I think he'd wait on. I think he'd wait at least a while later for the Rasengan. But he would show him the summoning jutsu, and I think the summoning jutsu makes complete sense because he's been raised in the land of the Toads. He knows all these guys already. He wants to be, have them at his back, he wants them to have his back, and he have their back. And I think they'd all be even grumpy old Bunto would be endeared to Naruto. It's like, we like the kid. Yeah, no, you don't even. You're too young to say. You're too young to make a deal. You're too young to have a drink of sake. I'll have that with Jiraiya instead. So yeah, absolutely. He'd get the summoning. And I think because of just how much time he's spent there and how much he's talked about it, I think Naruto would insist on the sage training. I think he would insist on it. Now, would he master it? That's debatable. Because even Naruto, as a older adult, had trouble mastering it. He did master it. He did even better than Jiraiya did. But would a younger Naruto, even smarter and having been around the Toads for longer, be able to do it in enough time to hit graduation? For the sake of fun storytelling, let's say yes. Because there's an argument for both. But I think you could lean more towards yes, again, because he's spent so long there. Because he's already learned about it, at least on the practical level. Or the practical level, on the mental, on the information level, he's learned about it. So there's a firm argument to say that he could learn it. So yes, I think we'll give him the Sage Mode, and I think we'll give him the perfect Sage Mode, which Jiraiya just goes, does that jaw drop. It's like, how the hell did you master that? I haven't even mastered that yet. It's like, well, I mean, are you going to be one up by this little kid, Jiraiya boy? I mean, you can always finish your training too. Jiraiya actually takes a moment to think about it. It's like, yeah, Dad, come on. And, Jiraiya, Naruto calling him Dad, like, oh, little brat, all right. You got me on this one. I guess I should. Then he masters his Sage Mode as well. So Jiraiya has a mastered Sage Mode. Doesn't need them on to help him out. So, yeah, which means should he face against Pain later on, it will definitely make for a different fight. But now Naruto and him would be heading back to the village. This is reaching the end of the 12-year span. Heading back to the village for the first time. Naruto, frankly, will probably have his oh man, I can hear people downstairs and they're being loud. And I don't think they realize I'm doing videos at the moment. So hopefully you can't hear that. Or if you can, it's very mild and I'm talking over them. Plus, I'm running out of battery power, so I'm almost done with this video. Naruto would essentially have his Sage get up. I think he'd basically have a smaller version. Though Naruto, I think, wouldn't be as short in this one because he's probably eaten better in this version. Let's put him on the same height as Sasuke. I think that's fair. He's not super tall, but he's not short. He's not the shortest guy in the class anymore. So he basically has a shorter, smaller version of his Shippuden outfit with the Sage Cloak. The Sage Cloak, honorary Sage and all that, because absolutely. And, he goes back, they go back to the village. And now I'd imagine Naruto knows of the third. He's maybe even talked to the third once or twice thanks to Jiraiya. But he's never actually met the third. And while he's more respectful, I think he still calls him the old man and old man third Hokage and all stuff. And Jiraiya, and for the most part, the third's just like, I can see you take after a lot like your dad, and you see you take your father's looks. So, it's like thanks. He really thanks. I appreciate that, Lord Third. It's like you can be respectful sometimes when I feel like it. Anyway, so I can't wait to be a Genin, old man. So we're gonna have to enroll you in the class. Don't worry, the graduation's not for another ceremony's not for another month. So you're gonna have to do some actual school. And Naruto's kind of like, oh, school crud. It's like, yeah, we all had to do it, kid. Just don't worry, just bear with it for a month and then you'll be a Genin. No problem. All right, Dad, thanks. So he goes off. Now he joins the class. Now, what has transpired with the other characters at this point? Because obviously he's gonna have to take the test, obviously, and be graded and assessed because of that. But what's happened to the other characters? Because remember, all the other characters had formed an opinion of Naruto based on his antics and how he acted in class. Without Naruto there, what has gone down? Well, no one hates Naruto because no one pretty much knows Naruto at this point. There's that. Sasuke and are still completely obsessed with Sasuke. Kiba doesn't feel the need to upstage or is not feeling like the alpha over Naruto, at least not right now, though he does wonder who this new guy is. Shino's also probably curious. Shikamaru just is taking a nap. Now, that being said, here's an interesting thing. Hinata doesn't have that innate crush, that just really deep crush on Naruto and love that she has for Naruto. I mean, she's never met him. Though she probably sees him and think, oh, well, I mean, she probably thinks in the back of her mind, oh, he's cute. But he's also, I hope he's nice, is what she's probably thinking, because she's still probably very timid. Ino and Sakura, because they've never met Naruto, don't have that innate hatred for him, so their first thoughts are probably like, oh, he's the new guy, and he looks cool, and he's not bad looking. Oh man, he's almost as good. Because honestly, when you really break it down, Naruto was never a bad looking guy when you think of it compared to the other people. In fact, Sasuke is more like that emo cool hot, which I don't get. But anyway, so Naruto introduces himself. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and by the way, that's a good question. I'm going to look that up right now. Sorry, I'm doing the looking up, but I'm going to talk while I'm doing it. Did Jiraiya have a last name? Jiraiya. I mean, he had to have had a last name, but did we ever learn what his last name is? According to this, I don't have a last name for Jiraiya. Wait, why don't I just type that in? Last name. Okay, Jiraiya last name. Did Jiraiya have... We never are given Jiraiya's last name, or Orochimaru, or Tsunade, though we know Tsunade is a Senju. In fact, we know nothing of Jiraiya, Orochimaru's family, the Sani, all namesakes. So, for the sake of sakes, Naruto keeps the Uzumaki name. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. And he kind of does what he does with Kakashi, kind of gives his, hobbies, his interests. And in this case, it'd probably be my name's Naruto Uzumaki. My likes are ramen, which I'm sure he'd still have a love for ramen. Ramen to learning new jutsu, learning seals. Seals are a big part of the thing. Training, getting to know new people, making friends. My dislikes are people who are others for their own goals, so forth and so on. And my goal, I'm not sure right now. I know the idea of becoming Hokage is an interesting one. That's the thing. I don't think Naruto would instinctively want to, because remember, he wanted to have other people respect him and then protect people. But I don't think he would innately want to be Hokage. I'm not sure if he'd have. My dream is to follow in the footsteps of my dad Jiraya, of my dad, and become the greatest seal master. Yeah, you know what? I think that'd be, because he has a great love for seal stuff. I think he'd want to be the next great Toad Sage and seal master. So I think that would be something he would say, and everyone's just like, wow, it's like, this guy's interesting. And Sasuke would be eyeing Naruto up a bit. Now, I'm going to end with this because we'll go into the graduation. Actually, we can end on the graduation. Well, no, we'll start off later with how Naruto's been interacting and then going into the graduation. But Naruto's nature with the Kyuubi, with Kurama. Right now, he'd know him as the Kyuubi. I'm almost positive Jiraiya would let him know this. Absolutely let him know this. And they'd be working together on the seal, figuring it out and understanding how it works. And Naruto probably has some minor he probably has access to that base form Kyuubi mode without the tail that he can tap in naturally. And it's something him and Jiraiya probably worked out with some chakra seals. They can just tap into that naturally. He has more than likely spoken with the fox himself. Right now, they probably don't get along very well, though I don't think it's as cantankerous as the other version. As some of the other versions, like it's a very mutual beneficial. Like if you die, I die kind of thing. I can't let that happen. I think it's a little better than that, just because of the amount of time they've now known each other, but it's probably not by much. So, and Naruto eventually won over everyone, including the fox. So that's where we're going to leave it off. There's where Naruto's state with the Kyuubi is, him being inducted into class, and where it could go from there. So anyway, that's where we're leaving off on part 1 of What If Jiraiya Adopted Naruto. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Superior Magic, What If. Anything you do on the channel, put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. I'll be back later on today with more War for the Spark spoilers. This week is Shazam. I'm seeing that Thursday, which is technically tomorrow. So, what can I say? It's Shazam. That thing looks like it's going to be awesome. So thanks for watching. I'll see you